All right. So, are we just magically live? I'm sure that's probably how this works, isn't it? There's not like a start stream button. It's just a we're live. Cool. I think so. All right. So I got this Dell Inspiron N4110 with a little bit of water damage. So to show you what it does, I already got the keyboard popped out. Show you what it does. You hit the power button. We get these lights right here. They go do 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 do. The screen flashes on. So see these lights ding, the screen flashes right there, and it cuts off. That is what we're getting. So customer brought in, said that it was water damage. She spilled water on the keyboard while it was on. So the first thing I did was just pop the keyboard off, and I looked at the connector here, and there's still a little bit of residue from where the water was. She said it happened about 3 days ago, and she left it in some rice for 2 days, and then tried it again, and it still wasn't turning on. And that is where we are at. So we got the keyboard off, we got the battery out. Let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. So we're going to grab a bowl. There we go. We're going to grab a screwdriver. And we're just going to pop off all the screws under the keyboard first. So the plan is we're going to pop it all the way apart, take the motherboard out, and inspect the motherboard. We're going to see how it looks, see if there's any type of really bad corrosion or just it fried, like where smoke magically came out of the motherboard. We're going to see what it looks like in that regard. Let me move this over a little bit so I can see if people comment. Alright, that's the screws on the top. So we're going to pop open all of the flaps just to make sure we're good. We're going to go ahead and pull off the cable for the LVDS. That's the for the screen. And we're also just going to zoom this in a little more. I feel like you can't quite see well enough. How's that? Maybe a little better. Alright. We're going to pull out this USB dongle. Alright, that is it for the top. Let's flip it over. What we're going to do here, actually, before I flip it all the way over, I'm going to grab a piece of tape right fast. Get a piece of paper. I just realized what I was about to show you if I flipped it over. There we go. That's where the Windows key is. Can't share that. Alright. So then all we're going to do is go around and get all the screws out the bottom. So my bowl over here, all those screws are the same. So they're going to stick right there. And I'm just going to work around the bowl. So as long as the screws are the same, they can go into the same pile. And all we're doing is working our way around the laptop. Pulling all the screws. So anyways, once we get the motherboard out, we're going to inspect it. As long as it looks physically okay, I mean, there's going to be water damage, obviously. But once we get it out, inspect it, I'm going to go ahead and clean it off. And I mean, that's going to take a 45-minute process. So this is just going to be the teardown video. But I'm going to go ahead and clean it. And then once it's clean, make sure to set it in front of the fan for a few hours. Get it dry all the way through. And then once it's dry, I'm going to plug it back up and see if it works. It works enough that the Dell logo appears. It's only for a split second, but it does appear. So I'm really hoping it's salvageable. On In the case that it is not salvageable and that it doesn't work, this is the RAM sticks here, right under the flap. So if you want to upgrade RAM, it looks like it's an easy upgrade on this model. But on the case that it is not salvageable, I'm going to keep our hard drive out and back up all the data for her. So you see how what I did right there? You might not even notice. The screw is different. So it goes in a slightly separate file. It doesn't look like that's separate files really. I mean, I guess it does on the camera. But there's definitely distance right there. Helps keep everything sorted and organized. Alright, I gotta pull this up. Yep, there's a screw there. So how I knew that there was going to be a screw there is that, this CD drive, there's always going to be a screw about 4 inches back. I have no idea how long that's, about 4 inches back, near the center of the CD drive. And that's because there's always going to be a little CD screw. We got a few more screws here. Let's see. Yep, okay, so all those are the same. There we go. So far, we have 3 piles. We have the top of the laptop, we have the bottom of the laptop, and we have these 4 screws that will go here and here. So we're doing pretty good on keeping the screw count minimal. Alright, let's see. Which way is this going to pop apart? Looks like the palm rest is going to come up. There it goes. Perfect. Alright, so flipping the palm rest over and taking a look, we see corrosion here. I don't know if it's actually corrosion, it's white powder. So it's spilled there. That's where this CD drive is. And there's some on the CD drive. You might be able to see it reflecting a little bit. There you go. Otherwise, I don't see anything. There's a little bit there. So it definitely looks like it was spilled on the right side of the computer. Alright, that looks good enough. So seeing that it looks like it was spilled on the right, let's see. Yeah, that's a lot there. On this little let's see if I can turn it. On this little plastic piece here, there's a good amount of white on it. And there's a lot right here. I'm not going to zoom in and try to refocus everything. That's a lot of work. But right here, so I'm just going to rub it off. And all I'm doing is rubbing it off with a microfiber cloth. Slowly. And all I'm doing is checking to make sure, like, you know, there's not a hole burned through the motherboard. Alright, so now, it's the fun part. We get to start unplugging the motherboards. We need to pull the motherboard out. I'm hoping this board and this board over here, we have 2 daughter boards. So we got a main motherboard and 2 daughter boards. I'm hoping that it's all good. So let's go and unplug that. And then we're just going to circle around. So what I see here is this screw has a B4 on it. This screw has a B3. We have a B2. And there's a B1. And then we have one that's not labeled right there. So, and there's B5. So there's 5 screws for the board that I see. So over here, we're starting a new pile because we're on in the next stage of tearing apart a computer. Those 2 are the same. B3, the same. B4, it's the same. B5, it's the same. Good. Let's see. So there's a ton of corrosion right there. It's pretty bad. All I'm going to do is slowly wipe it off. All right, and then we're going to pull out the handy dandy toothbrush. I mean, everything's there, but there's definitely burn marks. So we got some more corrosion right here. That looks pretty good. It's not nearly as burnt as it is right there. Right there's definitely burned. I'm thinking it's not going to be salvageable. But we gotta try. Never give up just because it doesn't look positive. Let's come on out. We got another screw hidden under the cable. So the cable goes down and you can't see the screw. Pull the cable up. We got a screw there, and that's holding in the fan. So we're gonna just make another pile there for the fan. We're gonna go and pull this fan out. And it's dirty down there, but it's not bad. Right, we really need these boards to separate. And it should just be a really heavy duty plug. We're going to pull out this card. Make it a little easier to pull this board out. Come on. I really don't want to pull that board out too. There it goes. Perfect. Alright, we got something holding it on still. So I'm going to flip it over slowly. Looks like we got a power plug. There we go. So I had forgotten to unplug this power plug below. Alright, so we're going to tilt the screen a little bit so that it will stay not falling over. Let's go ahead and pull this drive off. It should be free. Oh, there's one screw there. Looks like it might just be one screw. There we go. Another pile. Alright, so the top of this drive looks good. There's specifically no water marking near the pinhole. There is corrosion right here, which sits right here, and there's a ton of corrosion right there. Again, I don't know if it's actually corrosion. It's white powder. But it's no good. We don't want that. And there's the huge burn mark. It is on the drive. I'll refocus it, but that's a big burn mark on the drive. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off this plastic here. Yeah, there it all is. So the plastic doesn't look bad, but you can see that. You can see it from there. I don't have to zoom in. You see all that blue-green corrosion crap? I'm going to pull up the RAM. Looks like it missed the RAM. Yeah. Where the RAM sits looks good. Looks like it fell on the other side. So we're going to pull off the heatsink and see what the CPU looks like. But I'm getting more and more pessimistic as we go. If you're in the chat, I'm live right now. Feel free to talk to me. I don't know what kind of delay there is, but I'll definitely respond. It's a pretty slow teardown. There we go. So I got all 6 screws loosened. Pull it off. Alright, that actually looks good. That makes me pretty happy. How I say it. So it doesn't look bad on the heatsink, but there's more corrosion right there. So if we flip that over, so it's not on the other side because it would be right here on this side, but it is definitely around the joint there. Oh, let me grab my toothbrush again. Let's just brush all that fun stuff off. Yeah, that looks fine. That will probably be fine. This, on the other hand, I'm really worried about that drive now. Alright, and I'm just going to inspect around the board. We're going to go ahead and pull this battery out. Let's see. There we go. So we're about to start soaking this board. Let's pull the CPU out. There's no reason to soak the CPU. The underside of the CPU looks good. Let's inspect the socket. Is it dirt? Perfect. Socket looks good. So the main points of interest are around this screw hole for the CPU. This chip right here next to the RAM. And then on this side, we had a little corrosion here next to the eSATA port. We had some corrosion here next to whatever this chip is. And that's where the burn mark is. That's where the bad spot sits at. And I think that's the majority of it. I'm really worried about this, though. I'll refocus this so you can see it. This is the hard drive. See that? Right there? And that's what I'm worried about. Because several the spots on the motherboard look like that. And it doesn't look good. Again, just brush it off though. Alright, let me grab a little bit of alcohol. I use this Equate 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Put just a little bit on there. And I'm just rubbing that spot. Not much pressure, probably about 2 pounds of pressure or so. And then I'm not putting any pressure on the disc itself, on the case cover. You don't want to put any pressure on the case cover. You'll kill your hard drive. Alright. Probably be about as good as it gets. I'm debating if I should take off the PCB and go under it, but this is what it looks like now. Looks much better. You can definitely see where it was burned still, right there. But it does look much better. Alright. So I think this board, there's a little white spot. Doesn't look bad though. Alright, let me go ahead and start getting this board cleaned. The next big step. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably the best way. And I should get that side pretty good. Flip it over. All right, perfect. Put the lid on. There we go. All right, well, since I have the camera running and everything, might as well check the hard drive now, right? Let me grab the hard drive power. Where is it? Oh, is it here? There we go. Got hard drive power. Plug it in. Let's get the SATA cable ran real fast. The data looks like. No, I say what the data looks like. I don't actually go through the customer's hard drive. That's a bit wrong. But I do check to make sure that it's there. All I want to make sure is that you can see it. Because the customer is going to want their data. That's a pretty common thing. Alright, cool. Partitions popped up. I see partition. I see user. I see her name that she gave me when she dropped it off. We got a desktop. And I see 3 shortcuts. Looks. I think that will be good. Let me. Yeah, we're good. Data's there. So we're going to run a smart test real fast on the drive. Let me pull up smart data. Alright, the drive. Smart data says power on time is 213 days, 4 hours. 213 times 24 plus 4. ETA life is 1000 plus. Total stop start is 5468. That all looks good. The max running temperature in the whole lifespan is 59 Celsius. That's pretty high, but it's probably running in a trunk or something for 5 minutes while it shut down. Lowest temperature is 23 C. That's pretty average for here. That's pretty much expected. There's no warnings in the smart data. We should be good. So at the very least, let me dismount the drive. Very least her data is good. That's a good thing. What time is it? That's a really important thing. 11:45. It's 11:45. So around 30ish, I should be able to pull the board out. And then I'll be able to test. So I might do a video for reassembly. Probably not. It's pretty much the exact same as disassembly, but you know, the other way. No one ever commented, so oh well. Hopefully this video gets a lot of views. And yeah, I might put in the comments if it worked or not. Anyways, that's the end of this stream. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.